Let's welcome in our morning guest at this moment. Ashish Chaturmoha is joining us. Vijay Chopra is also with us, and Sameet Chavan is also joining us this morning. Good morning, gentlemen. Ashish, let's start with you. Can you just tell us about your picks? You have 3 buy calls.
Good morning, Pankaj. So my first pick would be a long call on Vedanta. Now, if you look at the entire, commodities basket, it is showing amazing strength, and we are witnessing either the stocks crossing a 52-week high or at least 2-3 years of high after a very strong consolidation, and now we are seeing an intense amount of volume as well as open interest addition that clearly interest is being seen in these stocks. Now, if you look at Vedanta, this stock is now trading near its 3 years high. Once it crosses this 246 mark, I think it will be a clear breakout on upside. One can initiate a long position in the stock.
Just wanted to ask, 246 as in 245 was the closing, so 1 rupee high.
Yeah, 1 rupee high. 1 rupee high, we have a 3 years high, and once that resistance is crossed, I think there will be a clear up move towards 260, 262 zone in a short term. So one can initiate a long position at current levels with a stop below 236, and an upside can look for a target of 260 to 62 in next 1 to 2 weeks. My second bet would be a long call on CESC. Again, a major breakout on the weekly, monthly charts. A very strong open interest addition in last couple of trading sessions. We have been seeing a consistent rollovers in the stock in last 3 months, clearly indicating that a lot of long accumulation has happened. One can initiate a long at current levels, keep a stop below 680, and an upside can look for a target of 740, 750 in next couple of trading sessions. And my third bet would be in the cash segment, which is a long call on Suzlon. Again, a very long term pattern being developed. The stock has formed a major double bottom formation on the monthly charts around 14 to 15 levels. Now I think this stock is poised for a very strong up move. One can initiate a long at current levels, keep a stop below 16, and an upside can look for a target of 21 in next 1 to 2 months.
Mr. Chopra, what are your calls?
My calls would be, my first call would be IOC, Indian Oil Corporation. The stock closed at 357 yesterday. I would recommend a buy call with a medium term perspective, and the target would be 380 first target, and second target would be 400. Although I recommend a stop loss of 340 on the stock. My second call would be from the metals pack. I think metals should do good in the very short term. So I've got 2 calls from the metals pack. Hindustan Zinc is the first. The stock closed at 295 yesterday, and it could be bought with a medium term perspective for a target of 320. The stop loss of 280 is recommended on the stock. My final call would be Vedanta. The stock closed at 245, and it can be bought for a target of 255, 260, and a stop loss of 235 should be kept on the stock.
Right. Mr. Chavan, your calls for the day?
Good morning, Pankaj. We have all 3 buy recommendation. First one would be on Jubilant Foodwork. Last week also this stock gave a decisive breakout from a trend line around its resistance of 835, 840 with substantial rising volumes. However, on Friday we saw a sharp decline in the stock. As a disclosure, we have recommended this to our client around 865, 868, and we still believe that this would be a very good buying opportunity. 835, 838 seems to be a very strong support, and we would interpret this corrective move as a dip. Thus, we recommend this stock for a target of 945. Stop loss would be around 828. Our second buy would be on Hindalco. Clearly, after a consolidation of nearly 4 to 5 trading sessions, the stock has managed to give a decisive breakout from a trend line around 180, 181. This can be termed as a bullish flag pattern as well. So, looking at the volume activity, we expect the stock to extend this rally. Immediate target would be around 189.5, and stop loss would be around 176.7. Our third buy would be on Bata India. Of late, we saw a decent dip from higher levels of 495, but it seems that the stock has a very strong support around 460. So we would maintain our optimistic stance in the stock for a target of 492. Stop loss would be around 456.
Right. Most of the calls coming in from our guests this morning are on the buy side. Ashish, just as you had all the 3 buy calls from large cap to mid cap space, your outlook on Nifty is also positive?
So I'll not say that we are very positive on Nifty, but definitely I think it is going to be very range bound, because if you look at the OI concentration of call and put, clearly indicating that market might see a lot of support around this 8300 mark on downside, whereas we might see a stiff resistance coming around 8450, 8500 zone. So broadly speaking, according to me, markets are going to be in a range between this 8250 to 8450, 8500 on upside, and this range is going to continue. So it is mostly, I think, a sector or a specific stock which is showing a lot of strength. Broadly speaking, I think Nifty as an indices looks very range bound between 8250 to 8500 levels.
Right. One thing that markets would react to is numbers, and a lot of numbers come out today, starting with the HCL Tech this morning. If you look at the numbers, it's in line. It's absolutely in line. There is a marginal miss as far as revenues are concerned, but EBIT and PAT are broadly in line. So if you look at the sales numbers, this is in rupee terms, 2.5% growth, about 11,811 crores. That's what the revenues the company has posted, and that's the profitability, 2,046 crores. That's about 7% growth. These are on a QOQ comparable, as this is a IT company. In terms of revenue and what's happening over there, so if you just pull up the chart, whether it's dollar revenue, constant currency, as well as rupee revenue. On a dollar revenue, there is a marginal miss. On the CC growth, again, it's a marginal miss, and rupee revenue are broadly in line, but that could be because of the cross currency impact as well. Constant currency growth is one that the street would focus on, which is broadly in line, just about 10 to 20 basis points in terms of a miss. HCL Tech also, from the last 2 quarters, have started to give their guidance. So their guidance for dollar revenue now is 10 to 12%. It's slightly confusing in terms of how they have written. So they have said that we maintain our 12 to 14% guidance, but that was on the basis of March 2016 rates. Based on the new rates, dollar revenue is expected to see a growth of 10 to 12%. So that's what they have said. FY17 growth to be in the mid range or between this range, which essentially implies about 11%, or they are not expecting the lower end or the higher end of the guidance. EBIT margins broadly, that's the guidance, I mean, broadly similar between 19.5 to 20.5. This is something which they have maintained. However, one would say that the Q4 numbers, based on these numbers, at least for the dollar revenue, implies that it's about 1% growth that they are looking at. The management will be talking to us. We'll get you a view coming in from the management at 11 a.m. That's the time when that confusion about the guidance and how essentially do they look at Q4 and probably FY18 is something that you would know. So 11 a.m. today, you'll catch the management, CFO and CEO at HCL Tech. Mr. Chopra, any view on HCL Tech after the numbers?
I think that the stock should be more or less in this range, and I think that on the higher side it could reach 875 odd, and on the lower side probably we can see 820, 810 happening. But the problem is not what they have achieved. The problem is that what is the kind of commentary which is coming from US, and entire IT sector and pharma sector is quite skeptic on what kind of commentary can come from US or what the Trump administration is up to. So there could be visa restrictions, there could be outsourcing, there could be restrictions on outsourcing business. So I would say that it's better to stay away to create new long positions in IT companies as of now. I see a lot of other opportunities right now in the market to get into. I think metals should shine, and the defense stories should shine. Overall, I think that even the FMCG pack is putting up a brave picture. So I would say that there are other opportunities right now in the market. So it's better not to take a punt with the IT companies.
Ashish, technically, what are the levels to watch for HCL Tech?
See, it's a clear breakout above this 850, 860 zone, and once it sustains beyond this 860 mark, I think the stock is poised for a strong move towards 920 odd levels in a shorter term. But looking into the broader structure, this stock has been consolidating for many months between this range of 780 to 840 kind of levels. So I think once the stock crosses this 860 mark, the initial targets would be 920, 930, but eventually I think this stock has a potential to cross even 1000 mark. So overall, it's a strong bet, and I think on downside one should keep a stop below 820 and initiate a long position even at current levels.
Samit, what is your call on HCL Tech?
See, clearly this stock has been outperforming his peer counters from IT space, be it TCS, be it Infosys, be it Tech Mahindra. Chart structure certainly looks good. This stock has been maintaining its hat of harbor formation on daily chart. Yes, 860, 865 seems to be a major resistance, but it's a matter of time. We expect this level to be surpassed, and at least in the near term, we expect the stock to move towards 890, 895 level. On the lower side now, 830, 825 has become a very strong base.
830, 835 has become a very strong
Base.
base. So you expect if it goes there, it probably recovers from that. Another two stocks that will be in focus from the large cap space would be HUL and Asian Paints. They declared their numbers post market hours yesterday, and remember, these are the first consumption companies after demonetization that have come out with the numbers. Let's start with Asian Paints first. Both of the numbers firstly were below estimates. Asian Paints sales absolutely flat, 3,586 crores versus about 3,558 crores. Profit numbers about 426 crores, down by about 12 odd %. EBITDA numbers, or if one is looking at EBITDA, 620 crores, that was a decline of about 40 crores, but it was expected. Around 50 crore decline was expected. They did about 40 crores. EBITDA margins came in at 17.3, broadly in line with estimates in terms of margins. Gross margins contracted for the second straight quarter. Implied volume growth, again, we don't have the volume growth number coming in from the management, but from the sales numbers, the implied volume growth is between 2 to 3%. Now the expectation was for about 5 to 6%. 11:30 a.m. is when the con call is there of Asian Paints. That's the time when you may get the exact number. That's when the analyst would interact with the management, and they would ask for that number. Results, however, have been impacted by demonetization, and maybe that's why the street would just take it as a one-off. HUL numbers again below estimates and led by volume decline. So you had gross sales, which was 8,124 crores. That was a decline on a YOY basis. PAT numbers or profitability 1,037 crores. That was also a decline. EBITDA 1,355 crores. Again, it was expected that it will go down. It will go down by about 70-80 crores, and that's broadly what has happened. Rural consumption impacted the numbers. Urban was better, but however, that was also slower because of demonetization. In terms of HUL, two things one has to track. One is volumes, one is EBITDA margin. That is volume growth for you, or rather degrowth, 4% versus an expectation of 1% decline. EBITDA number 16.7, expectation was 16.6, so there's no reason to cheer regarding the margins, or at the same time no reason to look at the margins on a negative side. Management had a con call. The con call is done, so some commentary from there. Demonetization has reduced the basket size which individuals were purchasing. However, their channels have started to recover, but still there is a pressure. Overall, they see secondary still coming off, which means that Q4 still can continue to be on the weaker side, and they are confident that operating margins would recover. Operating margins are a concern because of two things. One, volume decline that we saw, and second is the sort of raw material prices that have gone up. So on both phases, the management is confident that margins would see a recovery going ahead. Mr. Chopra, you mentioned about consumption names, and consumption names can be bought into decline. Asian Paints, HUL numbers, they represent the consumption basket. Numbers are looking weak. Still, why one should buy into these names?
Well, I said that these companies have put a brave front, and I think that these are classical stories, and of course demonetization has had a great effect on the great immediate effect on the balance sheet. But I think that over a period of time these companies will pick up. If you look at the consumption stories, I like companies like Marico, I like Britannia. I like companies like Jyoti Laboratories. So, these are good consumption stories to have in a portfolio. And in any decline, I would say that if somebody buys into these companies, there is a possibility that anybody can make 15 to 20% upside, in a medium term. So, I would say that these companies have put a brave face, and HUL numbers definitely disappointing. Procter & Gamble numbers definitely disappointing due to the demonetization effect. But I'm sure that these companies will come over it in the next couple of quarters. So and even in Asian Paints, I would say that the stock can probably decline to 900 odd levels, but yes, over a period of time these companies will recoup very fast. Definitely in declines these companies can be bought into. The current stories which I am recommending is defense. There are stories around infrastructure I like. Cement looks good, and as of now housing finance companies also look good in the short to medium term. So these companies can be bought into immediately, but yes, consumption stories, I think in a decline one should buy.
Ashish, can you give us levels for HUL Asian Paints?
See, as far as Asian Paints is concerned, the stock has formed a very good base around 890 mark, and from there it has been consistently showing an uptick. Almost formed a double bottom at a levels around 890 zone. Now, once it crosses this 970 zone, I think it will be a clear breakout, and once that happens, I think in a shorter term we can expect a target of 1020. So Asian Paints is a buy, and I think on downside 940 should be kept as a trading stop loss for Asian Paints. As far as Hindustan Lever is concerned, I think it's in a broad range, and in a shorter term we expect the stock to be traded in a range. So I don't see any major move, at least in HUL from at current levels, but Asian Paints definitely looks very interesting, and once it crosses 970 it will become a good trading bet.
Right. Ashish, just a word on Bharti and Bharti Infratel. Bharti Airtel will declare numbers today. Bharti Infratel has already declared.
See, as far as Bharti is concerned, again, you know, it's in a very range bound sessions. It has been trading. It fails to cross 330 levels on upside, whereas on downside we see a lot of support emerging around 290 295 zone. So overall Bharti Airtel, I think this is one stock which I'll try to avoid as a trading bet, but definitely Bharti Infratel as a bet, I think looks quite interesting. Once the stock corrects towards 340 zone, I think it's a good time to enter on a long position in the stock. On downside 330 should be kept as a trading stop loss, and on upside one can expect a target of 375 levels.
Right, just getting the first prices in a few seconds. There you go with the first trades. Nifty is flat with a positive bias, exactly what SGX indicated, 8,402. Infosys is down about 6 rupees. HUL is down 4 rupees. That's a results reaction for HUL. Tata Motors is up. Actually, it's really no change for Tata Motors. Aurobindo Pharma, again, no change. ITC absolutely flat. ONGC flat as well. Asian Paints reacting to numbers. Numbers were a miss, whether you call it for a margin miss or a EBITDA miss. Asian Paints is down about 1%. Reliance Industries 1,020, about 9,000 shares traded. HDFC Bank numbers come out today, so ahead of numbers there is some buying, 8 rupees higher for HDFC Bank. BPCL 1 to 2 rupees down. Grasim was a good gainer yesterday, maybe led by Ultratech numbers. It's up about 7 to 8 rupees today as well in the first tick. Hero MotoCorp about 8 rupees higher, about a quarter of a percent. HDFC Limited up about 8 to 9 rupees. HCL Tech on your screen is a reaction to results. Results have just come out this morning. Look at the volumes already, 3.5 lakh shares traded. 2% decline for HCL Tech, about 20 rupees on the lower side. Maybe it's the margins and the commentary against the revenues that the street has not liked. Bharti Airtel will declare numbers today, and why it is important is because it will be the first quarter after Reliance Jio offer has come in that these companies would declare numbers, so you'll see the first impact of that. Bharti Infratel is a results reaction. Results are already out. Results were in line and tenancy ratio was slightly higher, 350 for Bharti Infratel. HUL is down 1%. Now a clean move coming in. There was a miss as far as EBITDA is concerned, and maybe that's why that decline. Asian Paints trying to recover but still down about 0.7 odd percent. 68,000 shares traded. It's not a very frequently traded counter, so you may not get much in terms of a reaction. Asian Paints about 0.8% on the lower side. Moil is a company where government is selling a stake. It's via the OFS route. 3% decline, so it's a 4% discount. So I think markets are fully priced in that at the lower end or in and around the lower end, Moil would see demand which the government is selling today via the OFS. 91,000 shares traded. It's a very low traded counter, so you don't get to see a lot of move into this name. Tata Communications 679, again a results reaction. Results were mixed. There were a lot of one-offs into this result, but if you look at the results X the one-off, numbers were fine. There's no reason to see upgrades, or there's no reason to see very big downgrades as well. GSFC, very poor set of numbers, and recently the stock has seen a great amount of movement on the higher side, and that's why the initial reaction is on the 10% lower side. If I just look at the opening happened at 103, so again it's broadly in line, and markets are trying to factor in the numbers that have come in. GNFC also declared numbers. If I look at GNFC, that's down 4%. That's Chennai Petro for you. Very strong numbers on a QOQ basis. If one would look at Chennai Petro, 6.5% higher, 7,500 shares, 7.5 lakh shares already traded. Ashoka Buildcon, strong set of numbers, 2.8% higher, 170, 171, 52,000 shares traded. Good numbers, strong numbers were expected, and that's precisely what has happened. Nucleus Software, again a results reaction. It's a company which gets benefit from the digital transaction. They own RuPay. So we'll just talk with the management. Karnataka Bank gross NPAs increased 4.8% lower, 114 for Karnataka Bank. That's again a results reaction. 7.5 lakh shares traded for Karnataka Bank. So that's reacting to the numbers. Most of these results companies so far are seeing some good amount of volume. PC Jewellers, not sure if there is any news flow, but the reaction seems to be good. 4.5% higher, already 4.5 lakh shares in terms of trading volume. Yesterday in the entire day, the volumes were 8 lakh shares. So that tells you the extent towards which this movement has happened. So that's one name that one would be looking at. Rajesh Exports, again similar sector, and that's also doing pretty well. Not exactly as well as PC Jewellers, but it's doing well. Prestige Estates is up 1.8. BEML went up 6% yesterday, up another 1.5% today. PI Industries is up 1.5%. Escorts was one of the big gainers yesterday. It's up another 1.4%. 1% Beverages, some statements coming in that they are looking to double their capacity in the next 18 months, 1.5% higher. ITD Cementation, no volumes. Den Networks is a results reaction, 2% decline. Petronet LNG is up 1.5%. Timken India absolutely flat at this moment, and Siant Limited is up around 1% or so, 471 for Siant Limited. Power Finance had a board meet yesterday for dividend. Not seen any particular announcement, but I'll just recheck this morning if something has come. It's on the flat side with a slight bit of negative bias. Ashish, what do you do with Chennai Petro? Very strong numbers, up around 6%. Ashish?
Yeah. So see, it saw a very strong gap up opening today, and I think if you look at in terms of the price pattern, the stock has crossed its last 8 years high above this 338, 340 kind of level. So that clearly indicates that the trend is clearly on the upside, and I'll not be surprised to see the stock crossing 410 in days to come. So overall, any dips is it's a good opportunity to go long in the stock till it doesn't breaks on downside 310. I think overall Chennai Petro looks very strong for an upside target of 410 levels.
Similar view on ONGC, Reliance as well?
So ONGC, yes, because see, we have been quite positive on the entire crude play, and I think ONGC has been consistently moving up. For last couple of days it has been consolidating in a range between 204 to on downside till 190. I think again we might see a clear breakout about 204, and the stock might head towards 220, 225 zone. So in the crude play, I think ONGC and Kane, these are the two stocks which look very interesting to me.
Right. Mr. Chopra, as far as mid-cap numbers are concerned, some of the companies like Tata Communication declared decent set of numbers. Do you think in the telecom space, if one has to take an exposure, Tata Communication is well placed?
Well, I would like to stay away from the entire telecom pack as of now. But Tata Communication seemingly for a short term looks good. The stock has the potential to cross 700. But I have been iterating this time and again. That the kind of outflows the companies are having due to the Reliance Jio effect, I think that it's better to stay away from the telecom companies like Airtel, Idea, Arcom, or maybe even I don't see much upside right now in Reliance. But Tata Communications, yes, as of now can hit 700 seemingly.
Right. In terms of telecom, Bharti Airtel will be numbers today, Mr. Chopra. Would you be keenly looking at the impact of Reliance Jio and the free offer over there?
Well, definitely. You have to look at what kind of schemes these companies have been floating. What I heard was there are prepaid schemes for 300, 350 rupees which give you unlimited calling, unlimited data. So these things were not there 6 months ago, and these are definitely going to drain a lot of profitability from the balance sheet. So that's why I'm saying that due to the Jio effect, what I assess and what I reckon is that there's going to be cash outflow from these balance sheets. The profitability would be severely hit, and the companies, in order to stay competitive, have to give certain schemes to the customers to retain them. Otherwise, Jio is capable enough to eat away the market share. So again, I see the next 1 year for all the telecom companies to be very challenging balance sheet wise. They have to probably, companies like Airtel who have international operations, probably they can spin off something from there. That's entirely different. But I think that in the retail space, there are going to be major challenges for all the telecom companies to maintain their profitability and EBIT.
Right. In terms of some of the other numbers like Z, Bharat Financial today, Crompton Consumer, anything which is looking interesting?
I think Bharat Financial, I mentioned earlier also that I like the financial services space. Bharat Financial took a major hit when the demonetization thing was announced. But I think that the stock has come back very sharply and very smartly. It has the potential to cross 720, 730 as of now. So even with a short-term perspective, the company can be bought into.
Just in terms of results, a little bit of miss is factored in by the street?
Yeah, probably it is expected, but as I mentioned, that these companies will come back very sharply and smartly. They have found out ways for new payment methodologies, and of course the cash supply is also getting normalized. So I think that these companies will recoup, and that's the reason why I think that they can come back very sharply.
Ashish, your view on Bharat Finance, L&T Finance Holding, both declare numbers today?
So I think Bharat Financial can see good amount of pullback rally. The stock has seen a hit because of the demonetization and corrected almost from 950 odd levels to 450, and from there we are seeing a very strong recovery rally. I think now the near term resistance is around 690 mark, but once the stock manages to cross this 690 zone, I think the stock has a potential to test somewhere around 730 740 levels. On downside, now what is more important is that it should not breach 660 levels. If that happens, then I think the stock has a potential to test 720 730 zone.
Right. Samit, Yes Bank, since results has done very well. Any view on Yes Bank? It's 2% higher today as well.
See, clearly the stock has been outperforming its peer counters from the private banking space. We have seen a V-shaped recovery from lower levels of 1100 in a span of 3 weeks. So trend-wise, if you see, all daily, weekly charts are quite positive, and we are seeing the stock heading towards its near-term peak of say 40, 50. In fact, looking at the overall broader degree chart structure, this stock has a potential to move beyond 50 as well. But after reaching 40, 50, we would see some consolidation happening. We would rather see some profit booking happening. But if you take nearly 1.5 month time view, then this stock can move beyond 50 levels also.
So does it, what is the trade? Is it a buy?
Not at current levels. If you get a chance to enter somewhere around say 1350 to 1330, that kind of zone, then it becomes a very good buying opportunity considering the risk to reward ratio. In that case, yes, one can get into it. Now 1280 to 1300 seems to be a very strong support zone. So if it reaches 1350, 1340, one can keep a stop loss somewhere around 1280 and go long around those levels for first target 1440, and once it surpasses those levels, then 1480, 1500 would be the next levels.
Similar view on IndusInd Bank?
Yes, if you look at the overall chart structure, it is quite similar to Yes Bank. But from this space, we like Kotak Bank, which has already corrected quite sharply in last couple of months. 700 seems to be a very strong support. So at current juncture, if we have to pick one from IndusInd Bank and Kotak Bank, then we'll go for Kotak Bank, considering its risk to reward ratio. The support seems to be strong support seems to be somewhere around 690, 700. So we expect Kotak Bank to surpass 750, 755 mark quite soon, which has been acting as a major hurdle of late. We expect this stock to move towards 775, 780. So any dip from current level would be a good opportunity to enter into it, and 690, 695 seems to be a very strong support.
Mr. Chopra, private banks, especially Yes Bank and IndusInd, after results, would they trade at a premium to the sector?
Well, not exactly premium, but I think that Yes Bank can definitely go past 1500. This bank has put up a very, very fantastic result, and the good thing about their the results is the consistency they've maintained in keeping the NPAs down, even in such rancid environment. You know, they've been very critical on the asset quality, and they have done a stupendous job, if I can use this word. So I think that there is another 100 rupees upside from here as well, which I see in Yes Bank, and similarly with IndusInd Bank also, because the bank has put up a fantastic result. So these two banks definitely look good.
And in terms of valuations, will markets increase the multiple that they were giving to these banks, because even in tough time they are performing well?
Yes, I think so, because if valuation wise, if you see, definitely the valuation is a bit stretched, but markets do support stretched valuations if the performance has been up to the mark. So there's nothing new in it. You know, stocks trade at a very high PE, keep on trading because they put up fantastic results. So I think that these couple of banks should get a premium valuation from their peers.
Ashish, Federal Bank again in the banking space after results has done very well. It's today also up 1%. Volumes are about 1.3 million shares.
Yeah, so definitely we are seeing a lot of interest in the stock. It has moved from almost 62 odd zone to almost 79.80, and clearly on the weekly charts it is showing the strength to cross its previous all-time high, which is around 86 levels. So I think this stock is looking very strong. Apart from that, I think RBL Bank, the newly listed, is looking very interesting, trading at near its all-time high, and once the stock manages to cross this 392, 93 levels, I think this stock has a potential to test 430, 440 levels. So both these stocks in the mid cap banking space, RBL and the Federal Bank, looks good for 10 to 15% upside from current levels.
Right, both these banking names are looking good. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us this morning. Just before we go, Mr. Chopra, can we start with you? Disclosures?
Whatever stocks we have talked about, I do not have any personal positions, but we keep on recommending to our clients.
Ashish, for you?
I do not have any personal holding in any of them. Few of them must be recommended to our clients, but I don't have any personal holding.
Mr. Chavan, we've already shown your disclosures. Anything apart from that?
I don't have any personal holdings in the discussed stocks, but our clients might be having positions.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us this morning. Always a pleasure. Taking a break, our first after opening, coming back in 2 minutes.